Now you understand who you are and what you want to do. Then how do you become successful in that particular area? So that is the third sphere, which we call the door or mapping opportunities, how you learn to be successful. So you can be a great salesman, but then do you know what exactly to sell? Because somebody can sell, a lot of consultancy projects. They might not be able to sell a house. And somebody who can sell a house might not be able to sell, let's say, a nuclear reactor. So how do you decide which direction and how to go about it? So that's the third sphere. That's where a lot of education companies work, like test prep companies like Kaplan and Pearson and all these people, or college advisors and so on. So when you know outside, when you know yourself and you understand how to be successful, and you keep repeating this process again and again, whether it is high school, university, your first job, negotiating your salary, negotiating with a client, you keep repeating this process again and again, you become extremely good at it. And then you reach the fourth sphere of understanding, which is called the gift. Now, in my research, I've seen that most people reach the gift sphere in their late 30s. Why? Because they've spent a good decade and a half, maybe, in a particular area or in multiple areas, learning a lot of new things. That's when they decide, I want to do a social impact project on the side. That's when they decide, you know what, I want to do a podcast, even if it does not give me money, let me do it.
Mhm.
Because by that time, you're so comfortable in who you are, and you know exactly what you don't want, and you're ready to take risks, calculated risks, even if they don't continuously pay us, but they pay us with regular feedback and updates about their life, about the kind of career decisions that they made, because that gives us data
That
to,
gives you the data.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they
Yeah.
pay us with that. So there was a very interesting question somebody asked me a few months ago. What is the
Uh-huh.
difference between career counseling and career mentorship? Because the current mission of my
Great
company,
question.
yeah, the current mission of my company is to make India career mentorship ready by 2030. Now,
To make what ready by 2030? Career mentorship ready?
yes, career mentorship ready by 2030.
What does that mean, though? I don't know what that means. So you're already doing career mentorship, correct?
Exactly, but I'm just one guy with a small company trying to work with 1.5 billion people.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So what's your goal by 2030? That have more people like you doing this?
Yes, exactly. We want to create ecosystems. So we're working at policy level. So that's why I'm working with the government of India. I'm working with state governments to facilitate that process. That's why we're giving them a lot of hard research that, what we're saying is just not, the figment of my imagination. It's actually based on the research that we have.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There is no institutional support. For example, in the US, in the UK actually is quite advanced in this. In the UK, there are so many universities, top universities like Warwick University, which have dedicated research departments on career decision making. So that is not happening in Indian universities yet.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're trying to set up that.
So you're trying to set up policy, actual policy in these schools.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kevin, you tell me, how else can one single person impact 100 million students in their lifetime? It's not possible.
Can't. It's not. The only way you're going to do it is through state policy. You're 100% right. But is there any money in that? Is there money in dealing with state policy?
There is, and that is why we're slow, because unless and until the state is ready to fund my advisory, fund my research, I'm not able to work with them, right? I don't have deep
Right.
I can't really raise funds, because when I talk to VCs, and trust me, a lot of VCs, venture capitalists,
Yeah,
they approach me over LinkedIn that, you know what, the education sector is booming. We want to connect with the right people. How
Right.
can we work together and so on? And I clearly tell them, you want something that has exponential growth, so that you can sell your stake in my company to another guy.
to somebody else.
Yes, and make a good 20% on that, or whatever your margin
Correct.
is, right?
Correct.
My business is not that. I'm not selling shoes. So,
Right.
I'm working with people. With every single person, the impact will happen maybe in an hour or maybe in 365 days. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you ask me to replicate myself, I wish I could. I wish there was a 3D printer and that I could, make 1 million Saurabhs. That's not happening.
Right. Well, but now that you're saying that, we can lead into who's this mentor panel that you have? I look on your website. Who are those, yeah, ladies and gentlemen?
So a lot of them have the same thought process that I do. Like, for example, there is Amandeep, who is a lawyer. He went to the top law school in India, which is not easy to get into. So just like
I
Harvard
bet.
Law, Yale Law, right? Um,
Sure.
yeah. So he is an ardent, I would say. Well, what is the opposite of supporter? Well, he's completely against the biggest entrance exam in India for law admissions at undergraduate level,
Mhm.
something similar to LSAT in the US, right?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he says that does not identify good lawyers.
No, it does not.
So there are people like that. So extremely, experienced people who focus on academic research, who actually understand what the people need and are able to build the bridge between the business side of things and the research side of things. So,
Mhm.
so those are people. They love working with us. We love working with them, and together we will be able to create some foundation where the ecosystem starts developing. So those are some of the people. Then there are other people whose pictures are not yet on the website. My website is really bad right now. I'm really sorry for that.
That's
um,
okay.
for example, there's this scholarship called the MEXT scholarship
Okay.
offered by the government of Japan to
Okay.
foreign students who want to go there to study for masters or to go for PhD or something like that. And so the president of the MEXT scholarship is my mentee. Now he's on our mentorship board because he has helped hundreds of students go settle in Japan, and they're doing fantastic work in engineering, in policy, in everything.
Wow.
So those are some of the people we have, and I'm honestly surprised and really grateful to the universe that those people entered in our life, and we're working together. To be honest.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How long ago did you develop that board?
Oh, this happened. This keeps developing, but the
Uh-huh.
current one that you can see is around that happened in 2020. So
Okay. Oh, so it's been a while. That's good. Now, what's the other 40% of your business? You said 60% is dealing with the college kids and high school. What's the other 40%?
so we work with a lot of military veterans who want to now go into the labor market or enter the corporate world. In the Indian military, there is something called the Short Service Commission, wherein you join one of the four military arms. In India are Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Coast Guard. So,
Okay.
so you spend 10 years over there rather than spending your entire life. You spend 10 years over there, and then you exit the military, and then you want to enter the labor force or the corporate world. So we help a lot of them. We help a lot of young professionals and senior professionals find their true calling, which can lead to higher education opportunities like a top MBA maybe, or entrepreneurship, or maybe collaborating with other people, or maybe just learning how to network. It's so understated. People don't know how to network. I mean, Kevin, you must be, knowing that as well. You must have experienced that as well.
Yeah. People not knowing how to network.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Do you put the people, so if it's somebody that's coming out of the military after 10 years, so
right.
they're what, 30, 35 years old, 34, 33, something along those lines when they're doing
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Between 30 and 35. Yeah.
Okay. So are you putting them through standardized tests that you've developed, or how are you telling them, are you going off of what they did in the military and then helping them find jobs that way?
Absolutely. So one part is, of course, knowing yourself, so the inside sphere. So we
Mm-hmm.
use certain standardized tests um, for them. But at this age, the only thing that you can actually test is personality.
Uh-huh.
So we use a very popular personality assessment, which is freely available. Actually, anybody can use it. You can download it from multiple university websites, especially American universities. They offer it for free. There is a scale called personal effectiveness,
Okay.
right? So you have the right education, you have the right job or business or whatever you're doing, but yet you're not happy with that. Yet you're not able to achieve results. Why? Because there are certain things in your personality that you need to work on, which you might be ignoring. You're not developing those habits. You're not developing those learning, mental models, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other one that we use, and it is quite useful especially with people who are going through some mental health challenges, like a little bit of anxiety, performance challenges, or not able to make interpersonal, communication, and so on. So we use locus of control, LOCO, loco.
Okay.
And
Loco. Okay.
yeah, I think in Espanol, loco means
That is what that means. Yes.
yeah. So we use PE and loco, which is personal effectiveness, and locus of control. Locus of control allows us to see whether your locus of control, whether the decisions that you're making, they are being controlled internally or externally. So if your decisions are primarily made because of external factors, then you're always going to be questioning yourself. You will never develop confidence because you are
Very true.
constantly in that feeling of not having control.
Yes. Because
So-
you're not in control if you're allowing the exterior. If you're allowing external factors to make your decisions. Now, are these people, how often are you, what's the length of time you're working with these business professionals coming out of the military typically?
So usually the interventions last between 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
They are, mature adults who have experience. So we don't need to spend a lot of time. We do need to spend time on certain aspects, which they will learn in their own way because they have developed their own learning models and everything. So we need to give them time. It's just not having a straight conversation that, this is what you need to do, and tomorrow they start doing that. No, they will not do it. Right.
Right.
3 to 6 months. And usually it becomes effective if we are able to help them get an outcome or a result.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. Then,
Name of the game.
Exactly. So then it reinforces our communication positively that
Right.
Saurabh told me, you know what, this might help you. And this actually resulted me in getting a new connection or an interview or something like that.
Do you track that? Do you guys track the success rate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So first of all, we help them redefine success. They come to us, you know what, my friend, my colleague, my senior, my elder brother, or whoever, is in Goldman Sachs or is in this niche boutique consulting or has started his own manufacturing thing. I want to do the same. Where do I begin?
Yeah.
Do you really see yourself as a factory owner?
Right.
First, yeah.
You've got to manage their expectations on what you've got to make them be honest with themselves.
Absolutely right. I think no better way to put that.
Yeah, that's got to be hard to do too. So is it just you doing all the coaching? Do you have other coaches on your team?
No, we don't have other coaches, but we do have mentors, which means...
Sorry, that's what I meant that. I apologize. Go ahead.
No worries. I deliberately choose the word mentor instead of coach because there's an entire industry now about coaching. So it gives a very different definition to what we do, right? So I have been, again, grateful to my team because they take up a lot of the work that we need to do with the clients. It's mostly hand-holding through certain processes. So,
Sure.
In the initial sessions, we kind of make a strategy, you know what, this might work for you. And if you agree with this strategy, then let's get into a mentorship kind of engagement. Then in that, there is everything very basic like resume or cover letter, interview challenges, how to manage relationships, how to manage conversations at the office, or stuff like that. So for every bit, we have different people who pitch in, who bring in. I would also say a newer conversation or a newer voice, because you can't keep listening to one guy, right? That just becomes bad and boring.
Yeah.
So
yes.
That's how. So there's a team around every client, which helps in different parts. So I think that has worked for us so far. But the major strategy usually comes from me.
Okay. And then is it a package that you sell, like a silver package, a bronze package? Do you sell like packages of hours, or how does it work with your company?
Right. So we basically deal in months.
Okay.
So you know what, we need to engage with you at least for 3 months in order to see some impact or some change, right? So 3 months is the minimum that we work with. Before anybody signs up for a 3-month thing or a 6-month or a 1 year or 2 year thing, we do an initial counseling session. And that is the difference between counseling and mentorship, because mentorship is long-term. Counseling is more, I would say, a strategic conversation, a more transactional conversation, wherein, hey, I understand you now. I think this is what you need to do. This is what the psychometric test tells us. So this is backed by data, and this is what the industry trend is about. And this is where you fit in right now. If you think this works for you, let's engage over a longer intervention, a longer mentorship engagement. So that's how we work.
Oh, got you. Okay. Now, what would you say? I ask everyone this question. Why would someone come to you in India over someone else that's trying to offer the same thing? What separates you?
Authenticity. One of the things that we discussed before the recording began, right, Kevin, that you said I think the American term is straight shooter, right?
Yeah.
So exactly that. And that's why we are able to train other counselors. We don't bullshit. We are able to train other mentors that, hey, you're stuck over here, absolutely fine, no worries. This is how we deal with our clients. This is the kind of communication you can have with your clients. And that improves becoming better mentors. They're able to mentor more people and so on. With every client that we get, we currently, it was a very, very pleasant surprise. In September, we were creating our latest pitch deck for something. And
Sure.
My team kind of figured out, I just asked them, how many cities do we have clients from right now? In my mind, it was around 35 odd cities.
Oh, wow.
The number was actually 75, Kevin. It was amazing.
Wow.
So
Wow.
70 cities all over India in 9 different countries. It's just fantastic. So every client who comes to us brings in 4 more clients for us.
Wow.
So word of mouth is the only thing that works for us. My online strategy is very simple. I'm going to be there. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You will find enough things on Google. You will find enough blogs, enough media features, articles, videos, whatever. But otherwise, I'm not a celebrity, so you will not know about me unless and until somebody tells you, hey, why don't you research this guy? Why don't you look up this guy? Once you look me up, whether on YouTube or LinkedIn or anywhere else, then you see so much happening. Then like, why didn't I know this guy before?
That's great. That's awesome. So you do a lot of work on LinkedIn?
I do. I do enough, which will help people notice us. But I'm not a very good LinkedIn personality.
Specialist. Yeah. You're kind of like me, jack of all trades, master of none. You know what I mean? Like well-rounded, but not an expert in any one field. That's kind of how I roll as a person.
Absolutely. I mean, I also like to call it being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. And now that you've been one, can you ever imagine not being one? I could never.
I don't think so.
I started on this path 25 years ago, and I told my parents, I said, I'm not going to be a lawyer, which is what I studied to be, and then a politician. That's where I was supposed to go down that path.
Oh.
And I did internships with both, and I hated it. And I said, I'm not doing this. I said, I'm either going to die poor trying to be an entrepreneur, or I'm going to make it, but I'm not stopping.
Exactly.
And
Kevin, this is what I want to ask you now, because
sure, please.
I just had an alumni meet of my college on Saturday evening, and
Oh, nice.
Yeah, me and a couple of my other friends, we were just going to that meet together. And another friend of mine, he's 1 year junior to me in college, at least. He's also an entrepreneur. And the third guy, he works for a big IT company. He's very experienced and everything. So he started asking us, what do you think is the difference that entrepreneurs have that corporate leaders do not? And both of us, we were like, where do we start? So obviously the biggest thing was freedom, autonomy, right? Not having somebody to answer to. And to say that is usually people work from Monday to Friday. Entrepreneurs work from Monday to Sunday.
Exactly.
They work for themselves, so they're happy.
Yeah.
But the second thing which we discussed was very interesting. I'm sorry for the background noise.
It's fine.
Because it's firecracker season in India. So second thing was every entrepreneur develops their own learning models.
Correct.
I want to know from you, what are your learning models? How do you see the world? How do you assess an opportunity and so on?
Well, I start with internal. Like you said, you have to look inward. I think the battle of every human is love versus fear. They're the only 2 emotions in the world. Which emotion's guiding your decisions? You need to start with a healthy mind, body, and soul. I fluctuate between 10 and 12% body fat. I'm 50 years old. I balance my macros. I meditate. I pray. I exercise. If you're not taking care of you, you have nothing to offer anyone else. And so it starts internal. So my teaching methods to others are, you've got to fix you first. And you've got to be balanced in these areas. No matter how you find God, just find him. It doesn't matter how. That's all a bunch of nonsense when people talk about the different ways. It doesn't matter how. It's all white light. It's all high vibrational energy. So you want your body vibrating high mentally, and you want your body vibrating high physically. That's what you need to do. Drink a lot of water. So if your body is right and your mind is right, then what it becomes down to is, in my personal opinion, try to do what you actually love to do if money can be made doing it. And then also, when you have employees, don't try to fix what they're not good at. Maximize what they're good at, and then get other people to replace what they're not good at. You don't need to have well-rounded people. That's not your job to do that. I mean, it is to talk to them about those things in life, but not as far as the company is concerned. Exactly. So those are the things that I talk to people about, and that I don't have a coaching company like you do, or a mentor company, but you can ask the guys on here. I'm sure they'll tell you. I talk a lot about life to them, and I talk a lot about aspects of the world, because when you're 50 years old, you think a lot about giving back to other people. At least I do. I also have a foundation that helps the inner city kids here that I created. So I'm trying to do a lot of giving back at this point in my life. And this project, talking to you, this is out of pure enjoyment. Now, have I developed a business doing this? Yes, but as you can feel, I'm not some sales dude. You know what I mean? I don't come off like that, because we're either going to work together or we're not. It either makes sense or it doesn't. I'm not feeding my family off of what I do here. This is out of pure enjoyment. I do work with a lot of the people that I talk to, and then sometimes it's 2 months down the road, sometimes it's right away, but none of them have stopped working with me. Not a single one. But now, granted, it's only a couple of years old, but so when you enjoy life like that, and you come from these areas, and I'm very honest, if you like that, it bleeds through to people. And like, you're very honest, I can tell. I also love your sarcasm. You love to laugh. I love to make people laugh too. I'm very sarcastic. And my company meetings, I'm making people laugh. I don't know why people don't think you can do that in business. You can. You don't need to be so serious. You can do serious things, but have a sense of humor doing it. You know what I mean? So sorry if I rambled a bit there, but that is my approach.
No, absolutely. And the best thing about this is, where do these learning models come from? Because I relate to almost everything that you said right now, because I love making my team laugh. Even though we work remotely, I make sure every 3-4 months we are having a retreat in the mountains or near a beach.
Oh, wonderful.
Something like that, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah. That's the only way. I mean, if you're doing good work, I mean, and if you're not enjoying it, I mean, what's the point, right?
What's the point?
Yeah. What I feel as entrepreneurs, right? Because we get so many varied experiences, and those experiences are not taught in a college, in a course somewhere. So you can't follow a traditional learning method to make sense of all those experiences. So you're automatically going to make your own learning models, right? And that is why we have so many different learning models, because everyone comes from different set of experiences, right? So many different self-help books and podcasts and everything, because there is space and there is a message for everyone out there.
There really is. And because there's so many people, there's 9 billion people on the planet. So it's just, who do you resonate with? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what I tell everybody in business too. You don't need to push your product. Talk about your product, whatever it is. You're going to jive with people or you're not, but don't take it personally. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. You only want to flow and fit with people that you naturally flow and fit with. It's just going to naturally happen that way. They're going to like you. You're going to like them. And it's going to naturally flow that way. Your souls are meant to meet. You're supposed to, you don't need to put a lot of pushing on people. I've always told people that. You don't need to. I'm a consultant. I'm not a sales guy. I consult with people. That's what I do. I tell them how I got to where I did. Tell me how you did. We work together. That's how I do my business and everything in life. You know what I mean? I'm a people person, and I connect just like you are. It's obvious that you are too. It is.
I decided a long time ago, if I'm going to connect with people and listen to their stories, I'm going to charge for it.
No, you've devolved. Look, you've got people in 35 cities and 9 countries, dude. You're obviously doing an incredible job. You should be proud of yourself. How many mentors do you have?
We currently on full-time basis, I have 4, and overall the full-time team is now actually 7 because somebody joined this month. But otherwise, we have a pool of mentors from different cities who speak different languages. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, because India, there are about 200 plus languages spoken on a daily basis. So we are expanding that pool now because we are again very grateful to the universe that the government of India is trusting us with working with tribal populations, something like the rest of the world calls them indigenous people. In India, we call them tribal populations. And India has half of the world, the indigenous people population. So we're working with them.
So the government's asking you, they're paying you to go to these people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long ago did you start working with the Indian government?
It's been exactly 1 year and 7 months now.
So it's been a while. So you've got a good test of how it's going. Have the indigenous people enjoyed your process with them?
Yes. That's what the feedback says. I hope we could do more. We recently did a pilot in a small state, which is sandwiched between Nepal and Bhutan, China on top, and then of course it's part of India. So they have Buddhist culture, Hindu culture. The ethnicity is Indo-Tibetan. The food habits are very similar to China and Southeast Asia as well. So it's a beautiful place. You must visit sometime when you get time. Now, when we started working with those kids, one of the things that we test in high school students is called aptitude. Aptitude is a natural talent that you possess, you get from your family tree and so on. And we were very surprised to see that all those kids had very high language aptitude. Now, language aptitude is basically an evolutionary process, right? So you develop certain kind of talents so that you can survive well in that environment.
Yeah.
We were very surprised to see almost every kid has very high language aptitude. You know why? Because in the small state of Sikkim, which has an official population of 300,000 people and like official citizens of Sikkim, and then maybe 600,000 people in total, there are at least 10 languages spoken in that state.
Wow. 10,000?
No, just 10 languages.
Oh, 10. Oh, okay.
For
at least
600,000 people. So
that's crazy.
So you need to have language skills in order to understand somebody who's speaking Lepcha and somebody who's speaking Nepali and somebody who's speaking Hindi and Bengali and then of course English and then somebody who's speaking a little bit of Bhutanese. So otherwise you will not understand somebody, and you're in one of the highest places in the world when it's cold and you need your neighbor's help to survive.
You're in the mountains. Yeah. Oh my God. That's unbelievable. I never knew that. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was fascinating. And they were equally surprised because they never thought that this kind of an approach would also, be beneficial. And it is. So.
Wow. You've been fascinating to talk to. I want to keep talking to you, but unfortunately I've got a 12 o'clock where I've got a second call with somebody like what ours is going to be, you know what I mean? With an acupuncturist over in California, but to talk about how she markets herself now. But I've thoroughly enjoyed talking with you, and tell everyone where they can find you. Can you please I know you don't like your website, but will you please give what it is?
So first of all, thank you so much, Kevin. I had an absolutely fantastic time, chatting with you. I think it was just, I don't know why we didn't meet earlier in life, maybe.
I know. I think you're wonderful. I truly do, but I look forward to talking to you again.
Absolutely. Please reach out to me. The best way is LinkedIn. Otherwise, if you just search my name, Saurabh Nanda, you will find me. You will find our website. We are pretty good SEO on Google as well, YouTube as well. There are 20 ways to reach me. Send me a message on any of these places or send us an email. There's also an official number on our website. You can WhatsApp me, you can call me up. We'd be more than happy to understand who you are, where you are, and maybe if we can be part of your lives.
And by the way, the website, guys, is snmentoring.com.
Absolutely right.
Thank you very much.